Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for the July Taroscope for Taurus. Hello Taurus, this is me and I'm doing your July Taroscope. I've already shuffled the cards, and for this month's reading I'm giving you the Voyager deck, which is a really interesting deck by James Wanless. And for your Oracle card I am using the Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray, and the artwork is by Lily Moses. So we'll leave that there. The first card up is Time and Space. So Time and Space is standing in for the Judgment card. And in this deck, what Time and Space is telling you is that you have to judge or mete out justice on yourself. So you know very well what your patterns of thought and behavior bring. You know very well what the consequences of your actions are, in other words. So, to go a little further, your past is determining your future. So, the real message of this card is that you need to transcend. You need to transcend your own behaviors and mental patterns. You need to transcend your own limitations about what you think your life could be, and you need to transcend your actions. And you need to transcend these things and move towards a more spiritual way of looking at your life. Now, Taurus, as an earth sign and as a fixed earth sign, your go-to position whenever anything starts to go wrong is to dig in your heels and stay put. And this card is saying, okay, assess the situation while you stay put, but then you need to move up. You need to transcend. You literally need to lift yourself up to the next level. And the next card we have is Art. And I believe that this is a stand-in for the Temperance card. And Art is saying that everything in your life, that it is probably beautiful, Taurus, it's probably very balanced, but it represents old forms. So art in this instance is representing the classical or conservative art forms that surround us every day in architecture and design, etc. And what this card is saying to you is that you need to be creative in your life and use your creativity to dissolve old forms and bring about new forms in your life. So again, transcend, go above, lift yourself up. You're moving up. You're doing spiritual development this month. And I think you were last month too. And then we have the Four of Worlds. Worlds in this deck equate to Pentacles. And this card says commencement. So the Four of Worlds is saying that you need to start. It's spring. It's time to take a leap. It's time to get things going. It's time to tap into that creative energy. And this may be expressing itself as sexual urges or anger or just creativity and creative urges in general. But what you need to do is to focus that into a productive channel. And that may be lifting yourself up spiritually. It may be moving yourself out of a situation. So all of these things, all of these cards can relate to mundane life or spiritual life or both. It depends upon you and how you want to structure things. The second week begins with the Child of Worlds, and the Child of Worlds is like the Page of Pentacles. And the key word for this card is player. So this is an immature person. This is a person who has maybe not lived very long. Maybe they literally are a child, but it's somebody who does not have a lot of experience in the world, and they need to figure out how to navigate life. So this is a time of initiation. You are beginning to assume more responsibility, and you're still thinking of a child's world. So again, your limited picture of the world is limiting you. Remember this very first card. It's limiting you, and you need to transcend that world. You need to go beyond that world. So perhaps the childlike view of the world is very creative, and perhaps that's where you need to start. But you do need to use your imagination and use your vitality and the wonderment and magic of being a child to move forward and to move things up in your life. And the next card is the Universe, which translates to the world in the Rider-Waite deck. And for the Universe, in this deck, they just want you to know that you're perfect and whole just the way you are. But don't mistake that for being done in your life with evolving or progressing or learning or growing. Yes, you are whole and perfect, but your life is an unfinished process. All things are possible. And you, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, you definitely have not finished the process. So you need to, again, lift yourself up and keep going on to the next level. And then we have the Seven of Wands, which is courage. And this card is saying that you need to confront your fears. You need to not be afraid of changing, of moving on, of allowing yourself to really understand where you are now, the child, and where you can go, which is probably the adult. All right, then we have the Ten of Wands. This is another card about growing. This literally is the card for growth. It really relates to the Four of Worlds very much. So like a tree, as you begin to grow, your roots will move down further into the earth, and this is your consciousness. This is you learning about how deep you can go into the earth, how grounded you can be. What are you fully as a conscious being? But then the tree also grows up and into the sunlight and out into the atmosphere. And that is your spirituality. You can have many branches on your tree. All of them come back to the trunk, come back to the roots. So while the Universe said that all things are possible, the Ten of Wands is saying, yes, they're all possible and you have not achieved them yet. Keep growing, keep going. Just like the Child of Words, it's saying it's saying you're unfinished, but keep going, keep growing, and know that the past informs the future, and you're not finished with your journey yet. You have much, much more to go. And then we have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is equilibrium. So after all of this growing and after all of this lifting up and spiritual growth and creativity, you may feel a little unbalanced, and you may need to really work on your equilibrium. How do you balance the spiritual side of your life with the mundane side of your life? Well, personally, I think they can all be one. But if you do need to make a separation between the two, then you need to probably work a little bit on time management and, just get your priorities in place as to what should take place when, what's important for the first thing in the day, the first thing in the morning. What's important, when I get home from work, or maybe you work from home. So how do I prioritize things? How do I put things into place so that there's a mesh of how I run my life? That's what your equilibrium is all about. Also, emotional equilibrium. Balance yourself, manage your feelings. Realize that you cannot be completely ruled by your feelings in life, or you will be overwhelmed many, many times. You need to manage your feelings. Feel your feelings. Don't squelch them. Don't push them down. Feel your feelings, but then realize that because you're an unfinished life process, there's going to be times where you feel overwhelmed, and also times where you feel wonderful and very loved and supported. And this is a nice swing that we go through. Everybody has these swings. Hopefully they don't swing too wildly and get you into trouble, but everybody, if you can accept that it's not always going to be one way, then mastering equilibrium is so much easier. Don't expect that you're always going to be one thing. Expect that life brings about changes. You have to deal with it. You have to manage your emotions. And in that way, you can sort of be in control. Or at least you won't be feeling overwhelmed and out of control. The next card is synthesis. You get the theme here, Taurus, of what's going on. This is the Eight of Crystals. And the Eight of Crystals is saying that you have a very versatile mind. You can understand many, many things, just like a computer chip, which is also based on silicon crystals. You can understand many different concepts and hold them in your mind all at the same time. And as you do that, you master things. So just like the very beginning card where it said that you were going to mete out justice for yourself, you were going to understand the consequences of your actions, well, so too, you're going to figure out how to synthesize things into your life. And this, goes along quite well with the equilibrium card. It's telling you that there is a very intellectual side of your life, there's a very emotional side of your life. Both of those things need to be balanced in both of those worlds, and then all of that needs to be synthesized and come together. And it is possible because, Taurus, you're an unfinished process. You still need to work on all of these things, even though you're beautiful and perfect and whole in the eyes of the universe. And then we have the Six of Crystals. Now, this is interesting that this comes on the heels of the Two of Cups, the Eight of Crystals, and the Ten of Wands, because they're encouraging growth. They're telling you you need to get things into equal balance, and they're telling you you also need to synthesize things. Well, all of that together may bring about some confusion, and that's what the Six of Crystals is. It's saying that sometimes you may be overstimulated because of everything that you're trying to do, or because of everything going on around you. And this card is saying use that overstimulation and channel it into creativity. It's saying that that overstimulation may spark creativity, actually. And so if you know that, then again, don't let it get the better of you. Don't let it overrun you emotionally. Know that there's a purpose. The universe has a purpose for everything that is thrown at us. Every single thing. There is a purpose for our own growth and well-being. If you can take the time and the energy and the effort to look at it squarely and figure it out. If you can do that, then life is very rich. And again, things do not stay the same. You don't just figure this out once and then go on your merry way every day, same old, same old. No. It's a swing. It goes back and forth. Lots of things in your life are going to go back and forth. They're going to swing from one end of the pendulum to the other. All right, the next card is the Ace of Crystals, and this is showing you brilliance. But it's also showing you that crystals, which are very, very hard, can also grow together. So you've got a big citrine sunburst there in the middle. You've got some amethyst, you've got some, I think, smoky quartz, and some clear crystal. All of these crystals maintain their individuality, and yet they've grown together. Just amazing imagery here. And the idea of that is that you can be very brilliant, and the person next to you can also be brilliant, possibly in a different way, most likely in a different way. So again, this idea of equilibrium, balance, growth, child wonderment, using your creativity, leveling up, the spirituality, it's all coming together. And Taurus, if you can navigate this, I mean, you're going to have just a wonderful month. Now, I forgot to mention the Lovers, and that came at the end of the second week when you had the Child of Worlds, the Universe, and the Seven of Wands, which asked you for courage. The Lovers card is saying, be comfortable with change. Know that life is not going to stay the same, that you are going to have to navigate lots and lots of changes on your journey. No matter if you shun the spiritual journey and just go for a more moderate, I'm gonna just be a good person kind of road, or if you do incorporate spirituality into your life, you have to be ready for change. You have to know that change is going to happen no matter what, and it's up to you to navigate it so that you don't get overwhelmed. It's up to you to maintain your equilibrium so that you can handle these things. And if you do that, the end result is the Ten of Worlds, which is the reward. So, a lot of interesting things happening for you, Taurus. Boy, this card has tomatoes and coins and poppies and Jupiter. A couple of different times it shows Jupiter. It's got ice cream. It's got a big banana split or a shake. It's got money, regular money. It's got a gold bucket with chilled wine in it. It's just got amazing, some oranges, a pineapple, a big apple, couple on the beach. I mean, it's got some amazing imagery in there. And it's telling us that you can really have it all, Taurus. This month, you need to do some serious work to get your spiritual ducks in a row. And if you can do that, that will be great. Now, I picked an oracle card from you. It's Krishna, devotion. It says, trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. This is from Keepers of the Light. Art by Lily Moses. The deck is by Kyle Gray. And let's go ahead and read what it says about Krishna. Krishna is a Hindu god who is known as Mahavatar, which is the great avatar, and embodies divine wisdom. One of India's best-loved gods, he is approachable, kind, loving, and a supportive guide. He is a peaceful being with a great love for all people and animals. He is often depicted with a calf or lamb, which is a symbol of innocence, and a peacock feather on his head, which is said to honor the divine feminine. He was the spiritual guide of the warrior soul Arjuna, as related in the Hindu epic Bhagavad Gita, which really is a story about choosing love over fear, and helps us move beyond the limitations and wars our ego creates in our mind, and maybe even in the world around us. His twin flame is Radha. You have a deep spiritual connection and must trust the guidance that's coming through. Your devotion to the spiritual path has been recognized. It may feel as if you've been on a mental, emotional battlefield, but there are sweet messages of hope around you now. Krishna is here to boost your sense of connection to the divine and encourage you to act from your soul. If a decision needs to be made, ask yourself what will honor your soul and those around you. If you can choose the best for all involved, then you will feel even closer to the divine. So I hope that was helpful for you, Taurus. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought about this reading. And if you're interested in a personal reading from me, I do have some openings in the month of July. As we get closer to August, I probably will still be able to do some readings in August, but I will be unable to do any readings in September and October because I've got a very busy schedule. So if you want to get in for a reading, as I said, I've got some openings in July and probably some in August too. Just go to my website, thecoolcrone.com. So thanks very much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for being a subscriber, and I will see you next time.